Oh my God, could it be? Is it Thursday already? That's right, everyone. It's time for Geeks with Wives and Capes, episode 87. I feel really bad for all of you that are listening right now because we have like the wildest bunch of people we've had in a really long time. It's all because Casey is gone. We're just gonna like tear this thing apart. We're gonna sink the whole ship, and we're gonna show our new co-host how it's done. So. As always, I'm your host, Darth Sparrow, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys again. I was away at WonderCon in Anaheim, California last weekend, so I took the night off to pack and get ready and do all those fun things that are involved with, going to a convention and cosplaying. So that's why you didn't see my beautiful mug last week, but I'm here, and as always, I'm joined with my ragtag group of co-hosts. First off, we have bringing the saucy lady opinions and the beauty and the brains and the awesome wigs, as always, is the lovely Miss Piper Steed. Piper, how we doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a finals crunch time for school, and this is like the finals crunch time for this particular degree. So
is it like
extra
final countdown like?
Oh yeah,
that kind of
yeah. You should see my fridge right now. Thanks to a friend giving me my finals emergency kit, my fridge is completely full with energy drinks. Like
when she goes in to take her final exam, it's like Job from Arrested Development.
Yeah, it's full of like there's nothing but energy drinks and alcohol in there, and then like some milk.
So your refrigerator sounds like the refrigerator in every frat house in America, right?
Yes.
College. Those were the days.
Well, see, I don't even have to take a test. I actually wish I was just cramming for a test because it's so much better than what I'm actually having to do.
Testing. We wish you well. Please don't OD on the energy drinks, okay? It's good to see you as always, and I am super excited and beyond happy to announce that tonight we are joined by our brand new co-host, joining us for the first time, as an official co-host, Mr. Brad Bell. Brad, what's going on, man?
I'm just trying to make my way through the Speed Force so I can work off some of this barbecue that I've been eating over spring break. That's all it boils down to. The South is known for sweet tea and barbecue, and I've ate a lot of it this week. So just glad to be here, glad to be part of this epic podcast and part of this team, and looking forward to talking to our guests tonight about beer and zombies.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad. Let me ask you, what does a diet of barbecue and sweet tea do to your waistline?
As long as you run 4.5 miles a day, I found out it's okay. If not, then you might have a problem.
See, I wouldn't be able to do that then, man, because I don't like running 4 miles. I can maybe run like 1, and then I'm like, forget it. That's it. It's too much.
I used to weigh about 240. Now I weigh about 180, so I keep the cardio going to keep up my sweet tea and jelly bean habit that I have going on.
See, it's okay, right? As long as you counterbalance it with like 4 or 5 miles and a whole lot of push-ups, you're good, right?
Yeah, and a lot of insulin.
Just permanently hooked up to an insulin pump, Brad, just all the time?
Well, now that you mention, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
As we like to say here in North Kakalaki, diabetes.
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 Yes. So where exactly are you hailing from, Brad?
I am from right outside of Charlotte, about 20 minutes outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, where the great Carolina Panthers play, the 7-8-1 NFC South champions.
Ooh, he was ready with that stat. I like it, bro. You got to know your home team, right?
Yeah, but what did I say about sports on the comics podcast, man?
That's already butthurt.
Great, we lost
the
our
only
guest.
The only time that Casey allows us to talk about sports is Southern Bastards, so I try to work in any reference I can with that.
Hey,
that's true.
Smart.
We don't have
that's
Casey
how you do
here to face palm his way through the podcast.
Yes. We'd have a few face palms already at this point.
But they're from our audience, not our host, so that's a good sign, maybe.
Well, Brad, it's super great to have you, man. We're excited that you're going to be joining us and along for this crazy adventure. And hey, you joined us at a good time because we're getting close to episode 100, man. So you'll be there for the big hoo-ha.
Just don't kill me off like they did in Deadpool 250. That's all I ask.
Ooh. And on that segue, a little later on in the show, we'll be giving away a digital copy of Deadpool 250. So I'm going to make you all listen before I give that away. So you're going to have to stick around and listen at least what our awesome guests have to say. I am honored and excited to welcome our guests this evening. They are the heads of the Fresno Zombie Society. They're friends of mine, so that makes this podcast all the more crazy because it's just going to get wild and weird, all right? So
awesome.
I'm excited to welcome Ashley and Patrick from the Fresno Zombie Society. What is up, my friends?
How's it going? Yeah.
We're stoked to have you. Where are you guys at right now? Tell our listeners where you guys are at.
We are currently at Tioga Sequoia, which is the beer sponsor for our crawl.
Yes.
So basically, we're at a brewery. Yeah.
and if you're listening and not watching, they're holding up some really nice looking beers for us to see and Google over to be like,
cheers.
These are beers.
Yes.
So they just took #1 off of my bucket list, podcasting from a brewery live. Damn it.
Oh my God! Yes.
Hey, anytime you want to podcast from a brewery, just ask.
Oh hell yeah.
Awesome. We would love to do that. You
Brewery,
just shattered Brad's dream,
whatever.
though. So Ashley and Patrick, we're gonna get into what I call the meat and potatoes later on, but you guys are obviously a dynamic duo couple forced to be reckoned with. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your personal origin story and how you two met?
Oh Jesus.
Okay. Wait, are you doing this or am I?
Why don't you tell the story of how we met,
And he can sit there.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
It's probably better if she tells it. Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it.
So we also host the Zombie Crawl in October as well as Comic Crawl in May.
Mm-hmm.
I was accidentally at a Zombie Crawl.
Okay.
Ended up at the photo booth. Girl gave me page information. I liked the page. 4 months later, he posts, "Hey, thinking about doing a Star Wars crawl." I completely geek out. I'm like, "Oh my God, Star Wars crawl! I want to be there." So I go to this information meeting. At the information meeting, he tells us all about this crawl, plus the fact that he's going to do a flash mob to propose to his girlfriend at the time.
You wanted the story. You wanted it.
Oh yes.
Wow.
I'm sure the whole story at this point. So I'm super stoked to be in a flash mob, and I start working with him regularly. We're in this flash mob. Proposes to his girlfriend. We're working together. They break up. I end my relationship, and here we are.
I actually thought that was going to be a little bit more.
I helped him propose. How many girls can say that about their boyfriend? I don't want it about their boyfriend.
Nice.
So in short, never use a flash mob to propose.
I think that's what it came down
Lesson
to.
learned.
So Patrick, you were in this whole thing before Ashley came along. Tell us a little bit about how the Fresno Zombie Society got started and what it's about, actually.
Okay, yeah, the Fresno Zombie Society, it's actually just a lot of fun. I mean, basically, I put together the society because we wanted to do something different here in Fresno. It came down to, I combined two of the best things, drinking and meeting new people.
Right.
And so I'd been on YouTube, and I checked out some of the they were zombie crawls all over the world, and I was like, why don't we have this here in Fresno?
Right.
My friend said, well, why don't you put one on? And I was like, well, hell, why don't I? So put on the first, put on the first zombie crawl. We just had our 5th year anniversary for the zombie crawl this last October, and this is our 4th anniversary for our. I want to say it's our 4th anniversary for our zombie
Star
crawl.
Wars.
But we had 2 years of Star Wars crawl
Right.
before we switched it over to broaden it up to a Star Wars crawl.
Yeah.
No,
Got it.
comic.
Or comic crawl, sorry. Broaden it to a comic crawl.
Started as Star Wars, became comic. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That's very cool. So, you know, you always get people say, well, why don't you do this? And somebody gave you the challenge, like, well, if we don't have it, why don't you put it together? How hard was that to get all that going? Like, what kind of channels did you have to go through? Like, was it really difficult, especially in Fresno? Because those of our listeners who are not from Fresno, where me and Casey and Patrick and Ashley are from, it doesn't have. I guess we could say it's not necessarily the geek epicenter of California, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
it's camouflaged. You wouldn't think people like it, but they're very closet here.
Yes, definitely.
So they're like
Well,
everybody was in the '90s about geek culture. Then it's not cool to wear
We're catching
superhero.
up. That's basically what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're slowly getting there, Brad. But you're right. It's kind of started that way.
I always think if I would have went to high school now, I would have been cool because it's so badass to wear a Deadpool shirt now.
Same
Back
here.
in the day, you would have got beat up for that.
That's true. That's true.
I never thought about that. Genius moment.
Yeah, Patrick. How
But
long
yeah,
did it
no,
take you to
it's-
get
I mean-
that all going?
You know, basically, it actually just started with a flyer and a Facebook page. You know, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. So I made a Facebook page, called it. You know, I was told, you know, let's make a organization to start these crawls with. So I was like, Fresno Zombie Society hosting the Fresno Zombie Crawl.
Right.
And then from there, it started out with it was seriously a flyer on Microsoft Word, because that's all I had.
Right.
And then I ended up having a tattoo artist go, hey, made you a flyer.
Yeah.
Figured maybe you want to use this one. He gave it to me. I was like, all right, let's roll with it. First
Yeah.
year we had 100, 200 people.
Right.
This last year, 2,500 people.
2,500 people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few of the crawls now, obviously, being friends with these two, and it's just like, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest things we have going on in Fresno. It's just massive people, and it's awesome to actually see people in Fresno dressed up and going all out and putting time and effort into costumes. Right? Like, what's your brain space now, Patrick, seeing from where it started to what it is now?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I am totally thrown by this comic
By this
crawl.
year.
By this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Because for the first 3 years that we've held it, it's
Right.
held at about 500 people is only what's attended.
Right.
This next year,
Yeah.
and I'm saying it's probably because of the Marvel movies and everything, I'm predicting somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 people. We're going to probably triple our numbers.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's going to be, like, huge. And, I mean, it's just growing, you know. Thank God Marvel and DC are putting out movies. I love them because, you know, they're helping me out at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's going great. I mean, things are rolling, and it's becoming a whole. You know, people from all over California hear about it, and they come all the way to Fresno just to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, we definitely had out of town people.
Yeah, you guys are bringing them into our little corner of the world.
Basically, we're like, come see the drunkest and dirtiest city in all of California. As we sit there and we fucking drink and, I guess, get dirty? I don't know.
Oh, there's some dirty.
We teach
there is.
them how to do it right. That's how I see it.
You know, I think I'm gonna go on a limb and say another thing that's helping with your attendance is the fact that there's this pretty face on one of your posters.
We got this pretty face as well.
We got
You
of Will and Ashley with this.
I'm pretty sure
Holy
Will and I
shit,
should be a
I mean, right
dynamic
there.
duo.
It's
We
like,
should model for everyone.
well, we will be on your poster. Boom. We will bring people. What were you gonna say, Brad?
I got a question for him. Like, so besides the good beer, the zombie crawl brings out these massive numbers. What, besides the fact that like The Walking Dead's so popular, what makes zombies so appealing to people that they want to dress up as them and come drink, and that's your biggest event as opposed to the comics crawl, which is big but not as big, right?
Yeah, I've got an easy one for this.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah. And what it is it's the difference between dressing down and dressing up.
Mhm.
To go to a zombie crawl, you'd rip your shirt.
Like, technically, you could throw on clothes, tear them apart, splatter blood on yourself.
It's expected you to have shitty
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
But when you go to a comic crawl, you actually have to dress up, and so it's a whole money issue where people don't want to spend the time or the money to go get a costume.
Yeah.
But when they do the zombie crawl, they're like, "Oh, I got this all. This is my sister's shirt, whatever."
Yeah.
So they just tear it up, and then that they're in basically.
But that's also the awesome part about the comic crawl is you have such dedicated people. Like, we have the most badass costumes at this thing. Yeah. And it's just awesome. These people are out here and you're wanting pictures with everyone because every person that shows up, you're like, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. Like, you just can't get over what these people put into their costumes.
Yes. Yeah, that's I guess it's a much more daunting task to have to put together like a Superman costume than to go to the Goodwill and be like, hey, let me get my belt sander, let me throw this in the gutter, call it a day, we're good.
I seriously got my first one. I got a sports jacket and rubbed it on the cement for like an hour.
Yeah.
Before I was like done. That was it. Yeah.
I just find like this modern popularity of zombies so fascinating because people use movies, comics, television, whatever as an escape from how sometimes, let's face it, crappy their day-to-day lives are. And then they watch other people to escape from that in an even crappier situation where it's like the complete end of the world. So I think that might be the fascination if somebody has it crappier than you do.
Probably.
Here we go. I have a still alive hit list when the zombie apocalypse hits. Basically, these are the people I'm going to kill, even if they're still alive.
Is it saved on Microsoft Word?
No evidence, man. No, just in case it's only like a half-hour thing, I don't need the evidence. It's a mental list.
Okay, good.
So I want to get this. This is like a big get-together and a big party for people that are fans of the theme of the event. Mm-hmm. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, it's just you just join up and just do your thing. I mean, we have usually it's somewhere between 13 and I think our next zombie crawl is going to have like 16 or 17 bars involved, all within like a 2-block radius.
Yeah.
It's a whole walking event. You don't have to worry about of course you have to worry about getting home, but we get sponsors from
we try to get the driving services,
Uber or
anyone available.
One of the sponsors. So it's just a huge it's not just like it's a small little pub crawl. No, this is like it takes over an entire.
It's a few blocks wide, yeah.
I wanted to make sure I had the concept right because it sounded like I got excited because it sounded a lot like out here we have zombie walks. Mm-hmm. They're slightly different though. The zombie walks they generally start at a bar or a club, but then we literally just walk to an after party.
Right.
We've seen some creative zombies.
Yeah.
I was one of those people. I was like, I don't want to go to a bar, drink, and then go walk like a half mile, and then go back to bar. No, I'm walking every 20 feet to the next bar, and I'm going to continue drinking.
No, it's the good thing we have in Fresno. In Tower District, we have so many bars, so many restaurants that are willing to participate that you literally do not have to walk even a quarter of a block before you're at this other place that is totally fully in our event. They are
like 10 feet.
Right.
Guys,
I mean,
walk.
I like this. Do you? I like our zombie walks, but I like the charity aspect of our zombie walks. But the thing is, they really are pretty anticlimactic because it's like, okay, we walked for half an hour, and yay, we're done. So this sounds a lot better. Have you used these? Have you used these to fuel any charity work, or have you considered it?
We're working on it. I'm working with a couple, trying to figure out some, depending on the season, maybe a canned food drive or during the zombie one next year, I think we're going to talk about doing some sort of
We've talked about doing the Coats for Kids
the codes
program
for
here in
kids
town.
because it's right during winter or something like that.
So it's all about
Right.
timing because Fresno definitely has their charities and their outreaches that happen. I mean, when you live in Fresno, you know, okay, it's Coats for Kids time. Oh, it's this time, it's this time. So we're just kind of trying to time it in the right spot where it's not too early, people aren't or anything about it. We want people to be thinking about it and go for that particular aspect, that particular charity, and have that goal met.
And we're very local sort of oriented. So that's why our brewery is a local brewery. The people we work with are local, you know, bars, our local restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's basically, you know, the charities we work with are going to be local charities that we work with. And it's something that immediately impacts the Fresno and the surrounding area. And so that's very important to us as the society, is that we want to help out our community.
Yeah, it's nice. All that revenue is being pumped back into our local economy, which is really cool.
Exactly.
As high as taxes are in California, that's a charity in and of itself, right, guys?
Yeah, seriously. very, very seriously. What hey Patrick and Ashley, what other things will be happening at let's talk a little bit more about the Comic Crawl. The Comic Crawl is on May 30th this year, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Which kind of coincides with is it National Geek Day? Geek Pride Day, right?
Geek Pride Day, I think it's the 24th. We try and do it as 24th or 25th. I don't quite remember, but we try and do it as close to that as a weekend close to that as we possibly can.
Right.
And then still keep it, of course, to May. We have to coincide with a couple of the tower events that go on, so we have to watch out for that. But yeah, so it's sort of like a, you know, it's a local thing, and
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's everything we're doing surrounding that. We're hoping to add some things to the crawl this year. We're trying to plug everywhere we can, you know.
Yeah.
Just you want to get the word out because it's so easy to call it comic and people think Marvel or DC.
Right.
But we are literally anything geek related. I mean, if you geek out over it, it's worth coming. We have Doctor Who fans, we have Marvel, we have DC, we have Star Wars, we have Star Trek, we have video games. I mean, you have to think how big video games are. We have people that come out with these amazing cosplays, and so we were trying to reach out to this huge community because so many people don't get to let their geek out. You gotta let your geek out. Come on.
You just threw down
stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Sorry. And as for stuff that's happening there, we're doing like vendors. We're having geeky vendors that show up. So people that are selling, you know, different, you know, I always call them geek products. You know, we have.
Well, Vanna sells like we have a girl who themes her jewelry.
Themes her jewelry. She got
I have a Zelda necklace.
Zelda necklace. We got for her before.
Yeah.
Any sort of like geek theme things, we have vendors going. We're actually looking at a sort of like a bar, sort of carnival theme going on for that night as well.
Bar game / carnival, yeah.
Bar game / carnival. You know, the whole like the humongous Jenga.
Hopefully. Oh no.
Maybe some beer.
I was gonna say this is starting to sound like a street fair. Really cool.
It's basically.
You know,
yeah,
with the bigger numbers we get, we have to start thinking about expansion.
Yeah.
So the hard thing is, in our particular area, closing down the actual street is a really big challenge. So we're trying to add attractions where we can. So we have a particular club that has a bar side and they have a venue side also that still serves alcohol. So we're talking to the venue side about having almost this mini street fair. You know, you have your games, you get to play. It's just a way to like kill some time, have some fun, you know, make some random bets with your friends, have some fucking beers while you play a game. It's awesome.
Well, they're going to have to close the streets down now. You're not going to have to worry about getting that done because you just threw out the gauntlet to Doctor Who fans, so there's going to be like 500 people cosplaying as Daleks.
What I like is
we haven't had a Dalek yet.
Everything you named is
technically also in comic book form right now, so you're good.
But, I mean, you have the people that just totally, they have one line of thought, and it's like, dude, come out. You're a geek for it. Come show your appreciation for that.
Yeah. Last year, a buddy of mine went as Aladdin, and he's like, well, I don't want people to say it's not. I'm like, dude, there's an Aladdin comic. I looked it up. You're good.
And that's the thing. It's anything geek. I mean,
I'm constantly telling him I want like Disney
you can do
huge
Disney,
cosplay.
You can do anything you want. basically, if it can mildly be considered geek in any sort of aspect, totally fine.
Right.
Don't care.
But if you
Bring it
show
out,
up,
come out.
if you show up in a sports jersey, Piper will come to California and beat you up.
Get your sports ball away from my geek shit.
She was mentioning having the Raiders. There's a Raiders organization coming out. I said, you know what?
Shut up.
I got $10 that says there's probably a Raiders comic book out there somewhere. Somebody has made an Oakland Raiders comic book. At
Like
some
fan
point,
fiction at this point.
sometime.
That would be a horror
Really?
comic book.
That are a huge disappointment, but
They're not my team.
Like I said, it would be a horror comic if it's about the Oakland Raiders.
it's okay. I'm a Niners fan, and we have SpongeBob, so we have Squidward. So
You have Squidward, yeah.
Squidward,
That's what
so.
you guys got. Don't even start on. No sports balls.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sports.
Oh my god, wow.
Sorry. I just lost Ashley there.
She's
Not
on
doing the
baseball
SpongeBob laugh.
with the football.
Piper bringing up sports again.
Come on,
Good
Piper.
now.
I don't even count sports video games as real video games. So.
Piper likes to stir the pot a little bit
Only all
sometimes.
sports video games.
Okay,
Don't-
well, you might.
You just killed
Only
8
hockey and football.
Piper, you're never getting to interview EA. I guarantee it.
Great Piper.
So, do you know the Madden curse? Who's Madden?
Yes. Girl, is that like a shoe? Is that some kind of shoe or something? Madden?
It is a shoe too. Wait,
Steve
sorry.
Madden?
Oh,
Are you talking Steve Madden?
What? If anyone wants to donate size 8, just saying.
Hey, Patrick and Ashley. The cool thing one of the really cool things about the Comic Crawl, besides drinking and partying and meeting awesome like-minded geek fellows, is all these bars are involved in the event, and you get drink specials, but you have to get a wristband, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah, the wristbands, they're only $5. Wristbands get you into every bar and every club for free for the entire night. And you get drink specials from, Tioga Sequoia, which I'm out of at this point. I'm about to steal hers. But yeah, so drink specials at for the Tioga Sequoia drink of the night, and then you get into all the bars and pubs free. It's usually you're paying like $5-10 just to get into a club just for cover charge.
Yeah.
$5 for a wristband, entirely free for the entire night.
Yeah. You get your wristband.
And it's a Saturday night, so it's not like, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, Saturday nights are. We actually, apparently, at the last Zombie Crawl, we were at the point where they were only letting people in if they had the wristband. If you did not have a wristband, they were not going to let you in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, wait, what? Really? Okay, I'll take that.
That's a big deal. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the point with the last Zombie Crawl. There was lines to get in the bar. Now we're not. That was 2,500. We're only predicting maybe 15.
Maybe 15, yeah.
For this comic.
Oh, only.
But
we're short a couple bars.
it's still good.
Only 1,500.
Only 1,500. Thank you. See,
After Avengers 2 comes out, there'll be like 1,000 Ultrons there, so I'm
There you
sure it will work itself
We're
out.
working on a little flash mob for that Avengers 2 thing.
It's not
So
quite a flash mob. It's more
well,
of
if you're in on that,
massive-
Ooh. I'm gonna go ahead and announce right now that I may be working on a new prop specifically for the Comic Crawl to debut.
We have our
What?
super secret costume.
We do. We have our super secret costume.
What's happening? Stark will be rocking some new props, so you'll have to wait and see.
Nice.
Be at the Comic Crawl if you want to see it. Hey guys, give us the info on where we can find out more about the Fresno Zombie Society, or even where and when we can start buying wristbands for the Comic Crawl.
Exactly. We do everything basically through Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook. Just go on there and search for Fresno Zombie Society.
We do have
And
Twitter.
we are the only Fresno Zombie Society. I'll give you that. We're also on Twitter, and we do have an Instagram as well. Just search for Fresno Zombie Society. Just because I don't know what those are, but the actual
Twitter is at Fresno Zombies.
at Fresno
Make
Zombies.
sure the S is there.
Zombies.
And then
Zombies.
the wristbands will be on sale starting the beginning of May, and we'll have a couple places in our tower district that will be available to pre-purchase them. And I know one will be Strummers.
Yeah, that's the one confirmed. We're talking about. We're talking about Videos, which is a good vintage shop in Tower, and possibly a third stop at another bar. So we'll see what's up.
But that'll start around the beginning of May. We'll announce on our Facebook page when they'll be up for pre-sale. And we highly recommend doing the pre-sale because it is, we don't want to get in the lines during the beginning of the crawl because it can get pretty much madhouse right there. So, like I said, it's only $5, very cheap to be able to participate. A lot of fun for the entire night. Drink specials, no cover, and you just get to see everybody else there that enjoys being that geek that you are, basically.
Yeah, just speaking from experience, last year I met a whole bunch of cool new people. I mean, that's pretty much when I really became friends with you guys. Was last year at Comic Crawl.
Oh,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what more could you want? You get geek people, lots of cool costumes. You're drinking, you're having a good time. What's not to like? So if you guys are in Central Valley, if you want to travel down, come to Fresno for the Comic Crawl. Come to it. It's awesome. You won't regret it. So thanks, guys. We're so excited. We're looking forward to it.
We are excited to have anybody that comes out. Come on, bring it out. It's just a ton of fun.
And let your geek flag fly, right?
I need to vacation in Fresno.
Yes.
I was going to say, come see what Fresno is actually about. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right?
A good time.
Our reputation's a little different.
We're putting the yes back in Fresno.
I'm kind of afraid to come to Fresno now. I'll get beat up. I'll feel like it's 05 for being a geek.
No. We have Clovis right next door. It's a very hick area. Not to say that you're a hick, but it's a very hick area there. We got a lot of cowboys.
Hey,
Not saying you're a hick, but you might get mistaken for a hick. So.
hey,
People automatically assume you're from
Ignore
Clovis.
this
That's
guy
what
at
it
that moment.
is. Did I cross the line there? That's what it was.
Hey,
he said
Brad,
no negative Southern stereotypes.
Do you realize who you're dating?
Hey, Brad, that's where I live, so you can come hang out with me. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna
We'll
be-
talk about hot toys. It'll be all right.
Exactly. Did guys, Brad, Piper, did you have any more questions before we move to our next awesome segment for the night? It's okay
I'm
to
trying
say
to
no,
think
you
to
know.
make sure I don't, because I will think of one after the podcast, and I'll feel like crap.
You have us on Twitter now, Piper, so you can
That is
tweet
true.
us anytime. I'm a Twitter whore.
Yes, if you think of a question for these folks, remember, at Fresno Zombies with an S. It's
With an S.
kind of like Easter's. It's kind of like Easter's.
And we have a super secret giveaway this weekend too. So
We do have a good contest this weekend.
So
Giveaways are
we do
awesome.
giveaways constantly. Like
Will's
nonstop,
actually
I
in
swear.
on this one, but shh.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Will. Yeah, we invited Will to
Here's
do
a
it.
question. How can I start one for Dayton, Ohio?
Find at least, I would say find at least 3 bars within walking distance and start chatting them up.
Yeah. Just say,
Is
hey,
that... I will...
would you want me to bring you money? That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Yeah.
We're just extremely lucky to have the Tower District.
That's awesome. Patrick, nice segue, because we have something to give away tonight. We are giving away a digital copy of Deadpool number 250. I'm going to give out the code right now, so the first person to redeem the code will get a free issue. And I guess it's a mega-sized issue, so it's normally like a $10 issue if you buy the hard copy. So the code for that is T as in Tom, M as in Mary, A, S as in Sam, 5-4, G as in Giraffe, 4, Y, 6, P, Q. And if you need us to tweet it, we can tweet it out. Just message us or something. If you got it first, let us know you got it. That's for Deadpool number 250.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like free comics?
Use your Marvel Comics account to unlock that code.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, has anybody, any of our team written a review on that yet?
No, Casey was the only one that I know that has read Deadpool, or that even picked up Deadpool 250. I like Deadpool. It's not one of my monthly pulls, but hope maybe Casey will write something up. He's been a little busy out in San Diego.
Yeah, he's been doing the work thing, which we all have to do from time to time, unfortunately.
Until they start paying us the big bucks, right?
True. Until we start getting paid to do this, so what we can hope, right?
I need to get the work thing so that I can have the monies to vacation in California.
Yes, and come party with us.
Fresno, California.
It'll be a good time. See, now
in
you'll
Fresno,
have.
I don't always vacation all over the way, but when I do.
Oh my god, okay, fine.
Seriously, so much
I'm apparently handling stuff while he gets another beer.
Yes. Hey, Ashley, you guys want to stick around with us and talk comics and geek stuff for a little bit?
We totally can.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna go into our weekly segment of our Week in Geek, where we talk all things that we did geek-like, read comics, watched geeky shows, whatever we did. So, in all fairness and honor of our brand new co-host, I'm gonna let Mr. Brad Bell go first. Brad, what have you got for us this week?
Well, it is Convergence Week. DC finally launching their big event, and I was fortunate enough to read 2 Convergence comics that I have reviewed at geekswithwives.com. Now, Casey says, and I hear a lot of people saying that this book is confusing as hell. I'm going to try to sum up Convergence as best as I can, okay?
Yes. Help the masses who are not as comic savvy as we are.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's as hard to understand like something like Final Crisis, where you had to have a PhD in DC Comics to understand. However, basically a super brainiac has collected all these cities from different multiverses and put them in Telos. Now these cities must compete to see which continuity will survive, and these cities are made up of different continuities throughout DC history, whether it's Gotham by Gaslight, pre-New 52, Flashpoint, or whatnot. So basically, yeah, it's just like Battle World, except it's all taking place under a dome. So it's a lot like Secret Wars, but I really dug the first issue. It caught a lot of negative flack on sites like Comic Roundup. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's a very Superman-centric story. I used to be the guy who hated Superman, but because he's just a powerful alien, he's God. What makes him so interesting? Until I got older and I started to realize what makes Superman the greatest hero of them all is the fact that he chooses to do this. He chooses to give his life. I know it's kind of a Christ-like reference here, but to give his life for the masses, right? Which is ironic, as seeing how Superman was created by two Jewish guys, but still, it's very, and I don't mean that in any type of negative way whatsoever.
Right.
But that has been brought up from time to time, and it really you see different multiverses, and the main one they open up with shows what if Superman was just a jerk? This is how screwed up we would be. And I just thought that was a thing that really gives some gravitas to the modern Superman mythos that a lot of us kind of forget about.
Sure.
I also read Speed Force, which gives us some fun Wally West flash action. It's just a really fun book to see Wally West interact with a speeding duck by the name of Fastback. It's just a book that's a whole lot of fun.
Wait, the duck is named Fastback?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I believe he's a duck. He may be a platypus, but
Okay, platypus would be cooler, gotta say it.
Yeah.
Some sort of
Also, usually you can tell the difference with the whole, like.
It was like an amalgamation of like a couple different billed animals, I think. The Fastback character was.
When it's going that fast, you can't really tell what it is, okay?
Oh, that's true. You might not see the beach.
Just see a bill.
And And speaking of Deadpool, I got to read the trade paperback of Hawkeye versus Deadpool, which was a lot of fun. I recommend checking it out. You get to see him solve a espionage case on Halloween, and it's a good kind of last hurrah for Deadpool. One of the final stories before they kill him off. So check out that.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much it.
Cool. Awesome, my brother. Thank you, man. Yeah, you have reviews for what up on the site again?
Yeah, I have reviews for Convergence #1 at geekswithwives.com and of Convergence Speed Force #1. So check those out. I'm working as an editor now for Geeks with Wives, which means I get to look at other people's stuff and put it up, which I enjoy reading our great writers' stuff, but I get to post less of what I would like to maybe, but getting to post Convergence is kind of what I'm going to try to focus on as far as my personal writing for the site.
Awesome, man. Cool. We look forward to hearing that, man. Getting your thoughts and details on that. So check out Brad's stuff, everybody. Check out Geeks with Wives for that. Miss Piper, what have you got for us this week?
My Post-it note with the comic I read is in my bag. No, luckily I remember. No. All right, so I've been super busy, and so I haven't gotten to read nearly as many comics as I would like to. But I did decide to read the Fox #1 from I think it was Black Dot Comics or Black Spot Comics. And because the cover, I don't know, the cartoony look of the costume, I wanted to read it, and it did not disappoint. It had me giggling. I don't know if it's one that I will really stick with because I'm just not really that interested in the story. It had me giggling, but it was too many, very cliche, basically. So it wasn't that interesting. It seemed like they were, they're going for the, what if an everyday dude was a superhero and really didn't want to be and is trying to juggle a regular job and a family with being a superhero and this and that. And I'm like, I like that direction, but so many people are going in that direction that now they're all starting to sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the cartoony kind of artwork. It did it justice, especially when he's in the Fox costume. It made me think of Deadpool because the expression you get is all in the shape of the blank eyes.
Right.
And so there was very Deadpool-esque facial expressions, I guess, with those eyes that I really liked.
Sure.
But let's see. I'm trying to find a.
It's amazing how much acting can be done through the eyes. I think of Tom Hardy as Bane in the last Batman movie. He did so much great acting through the eyes, but that's a good point, Piper.
Yeah.
Yes, and when you draw and you exaggerate them, it's even better. But yeah, you can say everything you could possibly need to say with just your eyes, I think. You can just make it a hell of a lot funnier. Well, every time you do that, I always whatever it is I am saying. Will doesn't even have to talk with his eyes, you guys. He can just talk with his eyebrows. That's all he needs. If he had his own superhero costume, he could get rid of every part of him could be blacked out except the eyebrows, and he would get his point across, and nobody would know who he was except for me, because I'd be like, hey, it's that guy talking with his eyebrows. That must be Will.
Thanks, Piper. Thanks, Piper. I love that.
But yeah, you don't even need the eyes showing.
Yes.
But
I'm gonna be a superhero called the Brow.
The Brow.
Yes.
Hey, that's how The Rock got started.
It's true.
Yeah, but he talks with his pecs.
True. That's his superhero power. He talks with his pecs.
Yeah. Morse code with those things. Anyway.
Yeah.
I really hope more people are listening to this than watching it, because that was. But yeah, no, I loved that, and I thought it was cute and funny, and I guess It starts this ongoing storyline that's going to be called Fox Hunt. Because this very stereotypical villain did a very a very typical thing of getting a bunch of villains together to go gain up on the hero, and that's the thing that killed me. It was all too typical and cliche, and if they were making fun of the cliche,
Right.
then they needed a little more humor in there to get that point across. So unfortunately, it just wasn't really original enough, I guess, story-wise. But that's all I got to read, so I'm kind of sad about that. But but I did watch Agents of Shield.
Hey, let's talk about it. I've watched it.
Yay! Casey's not here. I can talk about Agents of Shield.
I'm 3 episodes behind, guys.
Mute.
I really am. But at this point, I'm starting to lose interest.
Mute everything. Okay. What?
That's it. That's it, Brad.
I stuck through that whole first season, and it got a lot better at the end, and up until Agent Carter break, I liked it. And the last one I watched took place at the high school football stadium.
Okay, that one was kind of eh.
Yeah, and I was checking Twitter the whole time, and I never do that in Arrow or Flash, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I love
to be honest, that particular episode wasn't keeping me the entire time either. I was actually checking Twitter too, which I stopped doing. Once I really super got into it, I stopped doing that, and for that episode, even I was kind of getting distracted. The next ones, it starts getting good again. So I'll try not to spoil too much then, but I can say that Fitzsimmons, they're back in the game. Oh, where did they go?
Did they call her Quake yet? Did they call her?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but they're getting there.
Yes.
Yeah, especially the last episode. It's getting to the point where I'm like, oh man, how are they gonna top that? Because that was awesome. And so, no, still worth sticking around. Yes, every once in a while. I mean, every series is gonna have their episode that's just not that.
Yeah.
It's not that awesome. It's gonna happen. It's still worth sticking around, especially the last one.
Oh man.
Because
even great shows like The Flash have 1-star episodes. Yeah. All right, yeah. I call a lot of hell from my fellow writers at Geeks with Wives for giving the episode Road Time of Flash 1 star.
I heard.
A lot. So hated that episode, guys. I'll do an entire podcast one day on why I did, but sorry, Piper.
Yes. All I know is we got a cool reappearance of a character we've seen in the past, and it was like super awesome, right, Piper, to see him back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh my God.
Yes. So a lot of cool stuff is happening. You should definitely stick around. I won't spoil it. The fact that I even got to say that much already feels so good right now.
You feel better, Piper?
And I'm hearing that they're doing a spin-off just like Arrow plus Flash is theirs.
That's what the buzz around the campfire is, that there's going to be some sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off. As to who it's going to be about or what it's going to be about, we don't know yet, but they are apparently.
Yeah, we know a lot less about that than we do about the Arrow Flash.
Give me a Hawkeye Netflix series with Jeremy Renner. That's what I want to see so bad.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Was
so
that
where did they go? Did they have to leave? Or?
Oh, real quick. Sorry to everybody. Our guest, their laptop died, but they said thank you. They had a blast, and definitely check out Patrick and Ashley in the Comic Crawl on Twitter at Fresno Zombies, and you can get all the information there. And the Comic Crawl again is on May the 30th. So boom, let's do it.
They went on a BWERUN's what they went on.
Oh, Will, really quick, I do have to tell you. All right, I cannot pronounce really the Twitter name, but there is a follower that needs you to know that you did not use proper military phonetics on your code.
I'm so sorry.
They are disappointed.
I'm all Twitter fans. I love you, but look at my face. Does it look like I've ever been in the military? I got mad respect for you military folks because I can't do that. I definitely wouldn't last a day there. I love all you guys that have had a bled and sweat and all that other amazing stuff for us, but I can't do that, so I'm sorry. I definitely don't know their
Will's
codes.
like, look at my face. I'm too pretty to get it fucked up, man. I can't risk these looks.
I'd be out of a job here if if I got beat up every day. Man, I don't know how you guys do it. Respect all the way for you guys. My
like all of them are damn good looking too. So come on.
My comics. We'll start off with the one that's pertinent. What we were just talking about. I finally caught up on the Shield comic books. I happened to pick up number 3, which was the one I was missing a couple weeks ago, and then this week's was number 4. What I really like about this comic is it's if you took the basic premise of the show but threw in like all the really big named costume comic book characters, that's kind of what you would get. So you know how you're like, oh, I wish Spider-Man would show up in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's kind of what this comic is. So that's really cool because so far they've kind of featured a very well-known comic book character in each issue. Issue 3 had Spider-Man. The one from this week had Sue Storm, or the Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four, and they're kind of like all like each little like chronicles of like standalone missions in the Shield agency. So it's kind of neat. You get to see Coulson and the team interact with different superpowered heroes. This week's issue had Sue Storm working for S.H.I.E.L.D. in order to extract a gentleman who had Hydra secrets, and in order to keep those secrets from being, put into S.H.I.E.L.D. hands, they had threw this guy into the bottom of like a mine, which was like 5 miles deep, and not only that, but there was like a radioactive field surrounding him, and so obviously they needed somebody who could like materialize their own hazmat suit and invisibly get through all the security and get to this guy without getting caught.
Is it written by Mark Waid?
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah, you need to read anything that guy touches.
No.
So,
super great. Yeah, Mark Waid's stories are awesome. So this is a really fun comic book. Like I said, you get to see all those characters you love from the TV show with all the characters you love from the comic book universe. And the other thing I really like about the S.H.I.E.L.D. comic is at the end there's this like funny little like comic strippy type cartoon with Fitz and his like he's got like a AI monkey. It's like a holographic monkey named Henry. And there's like always this fun comic towards the end of the issue that having to do with that. So that's another thing I really like. But anyways, like Brad said, Mark Waid, great at writing this. They definitely have some different artists working on this book. The ones from this week were definitely more, I guess you could say, realistic drawings than the one from the last issue, which was definitely more like that crazy like 70s like Silver Surfer kind of like acid trip style.
Yeah. Who did? Will, who did this week's art?
This week's art, let me see specifically because there's like 3 names on the front of this book. Let's see. Penciler was Chris Sprouse, inker was Carl Story, colorist was Dono Sanchez Almara.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with any of their work, but I think it's cool when books like that kind of have a story of the week, switch up artist, and give you a different feel depending on the characters.
Definitely, yeah. It's a lot of fun. So that's one of the books, and then of course another book I read, which I wouldn't miss for anything, is Darth Vader number 4.
Oh yeah.
This book is like killing it, man. I keep seeing like they keep selling out of runs everywhere and having to do like second and third editions and things.
That 3rd issue is now very valuable because of the first appearances of those characters.
Yeah, I was lucky to pick that one up. So it's you guys don't. I don't need to reiterate my love for Darth Vader.
I have read the first 3 issues, but I hadn't got that one yet. It's in my pull box.
All right, I won't spoil it too much. Darth Vader's continuing on his quest to discover the identity of the young, force-strong pilot who destroyed the Death Star, and as well as trying to regain his status in the eyes of the Emperor. And now he's being accompanied by the gal I call the Uber Dark Side groupie. Right, Brad?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Uber Dark Side groupie. She's like, Lord Vader.
And we get evil 3PO and evil R2D2 that come along with her. You know, anytime you see a mean astromech droid, I'm in.
He's basically like the culmination of R2 mixed with War Machine. He's got like and like missile banks coming out of him and like all kinds of crazy stuff. He's a pretty wicked little droid, and you know, you get to see them doing their thing in this, and also Darth Vader is in search of an army to help with his conquest, so we get to see a little bit more about that. But definitely check out Darth Vader if you're not reading it. It's an awesome book. It's by far my favorite out of all the new Star Wars comics that are out by Marvel. So check that out. That gives us a few minutes to talk about news. Brad, what awesome news things did you remind me of today?
Let's see. We have a couple things. We have the first image this week of The Thing. Jamie Bell as The Thing in the new Fantastic Four movie directed by Josh Trank, coming out this summer, August 7th. And guess what, guys? It looks like The Thing. He's orangey and he's rocky.
And it looks like the comic book, right? Doesn't it look like the old school comic book to you?
It does. It does look very comic booky. It doesn't look like, hey, this is the movie version of The Thing. Like the first Amazing Spider-Man, like that suit looks, this is the movie Spider-Man suit. This looks like The Thing.
Yeah.
So that answers a lot of criticism about that.
So they managed to, out of everything they have already screwed up, not screw up one thing, literally.
About the thing.
About that.
Real quick, before we get off here, we've already mentioned it. This is the week that Deadpool got killed in the comic books, right? So now that
silence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Love that character.
We'll all eat a burrito in Deadpool's honor.
Let's go get some
chimichangas. Man.
Yeah. Chimichanga. Okay, like I said, not the biggest Deadpool fan, so don't kill me off yet. But all of these Deadpool is ending. Fantastic Four is ending. The X-Men are still around, but just Marvel pushing the characters that Fox has the film rights to the back of the universe, or killing them off. Does that
just replacing it with Inhumans?
Does that tick y'all off as fans of those characters?
I'm not ticked personally because I think Marvel needs those characters back. So whatever they can do to like help Fox not get money out of those characters, I'm okay with. It gives room too for them to come up with new stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least new stuff for the existing characters.
You're going to go see the Deadpool movie no matter what, Piper. Don't lie.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I am.
See.
No, that's my opinion just for the X-Men characters and Fantastic Four too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my opinion for those two. As for Deadpool, I'm giving them, since they're doing this movie, and I think they've already said that they're redacting that stupid origin story that they threw in for him already, in that Wolverine movie. So I'm giving them another shot with Deadpool because, honestly, mostly because Ryan Reynolds, he is Deadpool. Like, he deserves another shot as Deadpool. So
I don't think there's ever been an actor like who rallied so hard to play a comic book character than Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he was like all about it. I want to play Deadpool. I want to play Deadpool. Check me out. I can voice Deadpool. I can do this as Deadpool. Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that they actually gave him the role and he's getting to play it because it's pretty awesome. It shows he's more passionate and it shows he's gonna put that much more into the character to make it what Deadpool should be.
Yeah.
Make it his too. That's why I have high hopes, not for the studio necessarily, but for him. Yeah. And so I'm definitely rushing out to see that movie, and with fingers crossed and hoping, because I'm giving them my actual monies, that that I don't regret it afterwards. But him getting killed in the comics is super disappointing.
Hmm.
But, you know, there's still that part of me that's like, "Pfft, it's comics. They'll be back." Hardly anybody completely
It's
stays dead.
yeah, but the Fan Four is Marvel's first family. Like they were before anybody that launched Marvel Comics. So to see them just like, who cares about them in the comic books? Which I know Johnny Storm's going to be a part of the Inhumans, whatever. But I just wish there would be a Fan Four book.
Yeah.
And that's another one that I still think that, you know, further down the line, years down the line, I think they'll get relaunched.
Hmm.
Once the film rights revert to Disney, you're absolutely right,
Yeah,
Piper.
and I think the comic, you know, the Fantastic Four comic will get relaunched. They'll get a makeover to, you know, fit with whatever the times are when they decide to do it. But I don't think that that's going to stay gone, especially in comics. Nothing really stays gone, and nobody really stays dead.
but Will, you also wanted to talk about no post-credit scene in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that's real, or is this a Marvel like trying to throw us off tactic, or you think there's really going to be no post-credit scene?
It feels like from what I'm reading, there's going to be a mid-credit scene.
Yeah, they said there'll be. I guess they differentiate by calling that a tag. I guess like an end credit tag, which is like, you know, they show the main stars' names and then they go to that other secondary little scene. But I guess we won't get anything like the shawarma scene at the end of Avengers 1.
That's interesting because they're essentially saying, "Oh, we don't want to make you actually like sit through all these credits. We'll give it to you early so that you can go home."
Thank
and I'm
God.
like, yeah, feel for all the people that are on the rest of the credits.
Now I don't have to make my wife sit there the entire time to see them eating shawarma, which I love, but she was like, "What the hell?"
Yes.
Now I may never know who like the secondary mic guy is.
They're like, hey, listen. Who cares about all the people who work to make this movie? We know you drank 8 glasses of cola and you have to take a piss. So go ahead and go home. Right? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, no. So, you know, in a way, I'm kind of like, well, that's kind of a jerk move because that was probably the only way anybody was ever going to actually, you know, maybe look at the rest of the credits.
I'm still going to stay and wait.
I am too. They got me trained. I'm like Pavlov's dog at this point.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, just in case it was a trick.
Right.
I'm still sitting through the very end.
Last bit of news is Ernie Hudson will apparently play the Black Panther's father and the King of Wakanda in the Black Panther movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Those who don't know, Ernie Hudson is Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters.
That's right.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right.
What do you guys think about that? I was reading some stuff. I was reading I looked up that article off IGN, and some of the people in the comments were complaining, like, well, if it's, you know, a movie about a country in Africa, shouldn't we get, like, real African-American people to play those characters? And I'm like, I guess I could see where they're coming from, but, I mean, it's a Marvel movie. They're going to use big names, you know what I mean? They're going to use really well-established big names for...
I just feel like Marvel at this point has such a track record for being rather progressive with, if you look at their books already, with I know Piper's not a fan of this book, but the female Thor, and then you have the Sam Wilson Cap, and the Adventures that's going to be Miles, and the female Thor and Sam. Like, I think that they have shown that they are a very progressive, forward-thinking company, and that it's just the case of, like you said, Will, of Ernie Hudson's a very recognizable and lovable name for millions of geeks across the world, and I think it would be a good fit.
Yeah, I agree. And especially, you know, if they're going to cast a role of the Black Panther's father, who may not have a lot of screen time, I think they're going to want to, again, have more reasoning to want to put somebody in that role. If it's just going to be a quick role, that somebody's going to be like, oh, hey, that's Ernie Hudson. We love that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people can still get excited about it.
Right.
I'm not saying that Marvel's not a progressive company. It's just that their captain and their new Spider-Man, that's doing it correctly.
Yeah.
Female Thor was not doing it correctly or tactfully at
Yeah, you're
all.
doing it
Well,
wrong.
It's a parody of being progressive.
Well, no, I just have one quarrel with that, Piper, because they have not even revealed who this through issue 6 who this female Thor is.
Yeah.
So it's hard. This female could her true identity could be a multifaceted, multi-layered female character. So it's kind of hard to judge her already, isn't it?
Problem is, so far they're not portraying her as such. They're portraying her almost as a parody of modern feminists. It's almost like a joke. And to keep readership, they keep going, ooh, I wonder who it's going to be. Who is it? Who is she? Who is she? And I'm like, if you're trying to find out, if you're keeping readers by going, she might have a personality, that's pretty sad.
I think she has a little personality, not as much as we've seen like a Barbara Gordon Batwoman or something with that new creative team. But
are you talking about current? Oh no, wait, what?
I know. God knows. I should have never brought up the post-Gail Simone selfie taking Batgirl Piper.
I was gonna say, whoa. Gail Simone, Batgirl, and Oracle, yes, that's doing it right.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell she is now, this little, like, I don't know, I can't even. This female stereotype that's now making fun of, like, modern college chicks, no.
Yeah. No.
I like to think of the female Thor as mysterious until we see that she is really shallow, the true identity. I'm going to hold off judgment, but Piper, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect.
Well, I'm judging based on the comics that are released.
Yeah,
now.
That's all you can do.
Now, if they improve her over time, I'm going to say and admit that, hey, there we go. That's better. Right now, I'm going, really, you went to the View to say for the first time ever a female was worthy of Mjolnir? Already, you're shit. Like,
if they do not reveal who she is before Secret Wars kind of resets everything, because that's one of the series that's going to be canceled, I'll be extremely upset. I think that's when the character will be have done a strict injustice.
Then she'll definitely be resolved as, well, that was a marketing ploy.
Exactly, and they do not need to do that.
She's supposed to be one of the ones that get reset, because I was hearing that she's actually supposed to eventually be, like, Thor's supposed to be a female in eventual, like, movies even.
But she's going to be in Avengers. That Thor's going to be around, but that main story is resetting probably at a new #1, and I just don't want them to carry that resolution of who she is over to that. I want that resolved before Battle World, but then maybe you wouldn't read Battle World, so they're not going to do that.
Interesting.
I got
I think my opinion stands. If they handle her better, then I will say they improved and they made up for it.
So this is my parting question. If you have to read one, Convergence or Battle World, and why? Convergence or Battle World, which would you choose? Or Secret Wars, as it's so eloquently called.
I mean,
I'll both of them kind of make. Oh wait, I'll let Will go first. Yeah.
Because I have a quick answer. I'm a Marvel guy all the way, so I'm gonna read Secret Wars. That's my only reasoning.
All right, Piper.
See, now I like Marvel and DC a whole lot, especially since I was raised a DC girl. But I burped. My biggest problem is they're both kind of making me cringe in the fact that they're both like, I don't want to read like 8 gazillion comics to find out what's happening in any single one comic.
This is one event you don't really have to, because they're kind of, in a sense, they're entertaining, but they're kind of throwaway stories. I think if you read the main story, this is one you'll be fine on, Piper.
Okay. I think then I'm kind of more Secret Wars driven. That's the one I'm more curious about, and I think it's because I'm very into even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, they're delving into it. The movie universe is hinting at it a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm more curious about that one because I want to know everything about everything that's happening in that universe right now, whereas DC's universes are still extremely split.
Yeah.
So one thing's not necessarily going to explain another thing, and you're not going to have like this, ooh, I think I know who this character is from the, you know.
Real quick, my answer is, and I can't believe I'm saying this because it's like Will, a Marvel zombie my entire life. I've read House of M, Siege, Secret Invasion, Civil War, all of them, whatever. I'm going to be reading Convergence because I do not want them to push so many non-film right-owned characters by Disney to the back of the catalog, which it looks like they're going to do. And I'm scared as hell, Will. I know you may be excited about this. I don't want one continuity with the movies and comics. I want them to be separate. And I'm scared that's where that's going, so I'm going with Convergence. That's all I got to say about that.
Good answer. No, I like that. I don't really want Marvel to have the one universe either, but I do like the idea of like when a movie hints at a character or something like that, getting all giddy going, oh, I know that character and I know what they did with it in the comics. I wonder what they're going to do with him or her in the, in the movies or the TV shows.
Agreed. Well, on that note, I think that's a good spot to close it up. So why don't we wrap up with some final thoughts? Piper, how about you go first this evening, my lovely friend?
Aw, thank you. Okay, well, my final thought is female Thor is still shit. No, your waifu is shit. And also read my articles when I have time to actually put them out and stuff. Read my articles on Geeks with Wives and follow Outside Boxcast on Twitter because that is a project that I am working on. That's going to have an Indiegogo sometime shortly after I graduate. Also, here's some cool news. Right after I graduate, I'm going to start my own mini podcast on Geeks with Wives. That's us all me bitching about whatever geeky controversy is happening that week. And fellow geeks from Geeks with Wives are welcome to come and bitch with me or at me or against me.
Is it going to be called the Giggle Snort Podcast?
The Giggle Snort.
The Giggle Snort. I like that.
Seems to be that's one of the names in the running. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you follow, follow especially the Capes crew on Twitter, and then follow me. I'm at Fizz Giggity. Just easier to search Piper, and you'll find one of those Pipers is Fizz Giggity. Yes. I'm letting right now my followers and anyone suggest names for this mini podcast series, and when I graduate, between me and the Geeks with Wives, the whole team, so that it's, a name that they actually want associated with them.
It's the Pied Piper cast. It's already there.
Pied Piper cast. Yeah, that's one of the... there's been some hilarious names that I know for a fact we can't use, but man, do they make me laugh. They're great. So, you can follow me and you can suggest names for this podcast where, like I said, I'm going to use it for ranting on stuff that's like, it's not enough to be worth me writing an article, but it is enough for like a nice little 30-minute debate or something. Excellent. You can suggest names and then we will eventually decide on one of the suggestions. Just remember, if it's too inappropriate, especially for Geeks with Wives, if they don't want to associate it with it, it's not going to get picked. But it doesn't mean I don't want to see it because they've been making me laugh.
That's awesome. Hit Piper up with those suggestions, people.
Oh yeah, and I have that Poison Ivy petition, but I think I'm going to try to boost that a little bit more when I have more time because that offer to cosplay Poison Ivy and play Just Dance on the Geeks with Wives Twitch still stands.
Awesome. Yes. still waiting for that. All right, friend. Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Bell, what do you got for your final thought tonight?
Well, I'm going to do as much posting as I can on Geeks with Wives this week. Mortal Kombat 10 comes out, so as a Mortal Kombat fan from the 90s, I'm looking forward to playing that. But you can find me on Twitter at the Real Brad Bell, REEL Brad Bell, and you can find my comic reviews on geekswithwives.com, of course. Of course, I'll do a lot more editing now. But I'm still on there from time to time with my own stuff, and I'm blessed to edit the great staff of writers we have. So my final thought is props to those guys, especially Enrique Ray. He's been sending in some good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Toasty! Sorry, I had to throw that in. I had to throw in a toasty there for you, Brad. But everybody, as always, please check out our website, thegeekswithwives.com. There's constantly awesome new content going up, reviews from the team, cosplay stuff. Very soon, I will have an interview that I got the awesome opportunity to do at WonderCon with some of the cast from American Dad. I got to talk to Wendy Shaw, who voices Francine, Rachel McFarlane, who is the voice of Haley, and yes, she is also the sister of the big head honcho McFarlane, Seth MacFarlane. And also Scott Grimes, who does the voice of Steve Smith. It was super fun getting to talk to them at my first, what I call, real press line interview. Quick shout out to JC from Geekscape.net for chatting with me and kind of running me through the ropes of how things go. I really appreciate that, man. And as always, you can find the Capes Crew on Twitter at GWWCapesCrew. You can check us out there to hear our rantings and ravings and all the other stuff we post on a daily basis. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Darth Sparrow. Thanks so much to our guests Ashley and Casey from Fresno Zombie Society. Check out the comic crawl. A huge thanks and a super duper welcome again to our new co-host Brad. Brad, you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
I'm already speaking. It's going to be awesome having you on board, man. So I'm super excited to have you here.
I'm looking forward to the ride.
Awesome. And Piper, thank you as always. And for everybody here and for Casey, who's working away, we love you. And thanks for listening and watching. And again, we will hope to catch you on the geek side.